Hi guys, welcome to my very casual YouTube channel. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the HX Stomp and how to set up snapshots and a few other things. Probably go over rotary simulation. So yeah, to start off, I'll tell you a little bit about the gear and how it's going to be set up. So Telecaster, basically pretty standard, just a Mexican standard warm-off neck, custom shop Texas special pickups, and we're gonna play into a matchless. As you can see it set here, it's the matchstick channel 1, and it's set as you see it. In the cabinet, I have a dual cabinet. This is gonna be a stereo setup, full headphone setup. So basically our cabinet looks like this. I'm using two different microphones. We have a 57 dynamic, 4038 ribbon. There's some panning and stuff going on. And we have the dynamic ambient reverb. So I'm gonna bring in another little thing here. So we have the HX Stomp in view now. Perfect. If you see on the HX Stomp, we have nothing assigned to the foot switches. And we want to change that. We want to start assigning snapshots and foot switches to different effects and stuff that we're going to build into our chain. So we have to make a bit of a plan ahead of time about what we want to do. So the things that I know that I want to do are basically to create 3 different gain levels. That's what our snapshots are going to be controlling. And then from there, I want to have my extra button here control the spring reverb. And we'll probably make the expression pedal do something. I'm not entirely sure what yet. But it's there, so we'll probably use it. And then basically we're probably going to have this third foot switch engage a rotary, and then these two will be probably the gain stages, but I might do 2 different effects and just make this one the gain stage to flip back and forth. It might just be a 2-channel setup with like clean and dirty. Maybe that's what we'll do. Okay, so let's start anyways. I know, for example, that to start things off, I want another reverb in here, and I'm just going to use a mono, well, it's going to be a legacy actually, 63 spring reverb. And I'm using that because it's just personally what I like for this sort of thing. We're going to set the bypass to, I think it's foot switch 5, if I remember. Let's see. 4. Yeah, it's 4. And I have to set this to momentary because I'm using a latching foot switch. That sounds contradictory, but that is how it works. So now this turns on and off the spring reverb. And it sounds a little something like this now. Okay, so this is so far a pretty good building block, and it's something I do quite often, is just kind of start with like what I would have in real life. Not that I have a matchless or anything, but this is kind of the type of thing that I would use in real life. So to explain what I'm going through in my head is basically I've got my guitar, and it's going into an amp, and in my little dream universe here, that amp has a spring reverb, and the spring reverb is after the amp and before the cab, so it's kind of like it's in the effects loop. And then after that, I have a stereo dynamic ambience. And that's because I'm trying to model an amp in a space, basically. So we have two reverbs, but they're kind of doing two different things because the spring reverb adds like the characteristics of a spring reverb, and then this one adds the characteristics of a space. And everything that's after the cab in this scenario should be stereo. Everything before it can be mono, at least for now. I might change that. So don't forget to save. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is add a few snapshots here for controlling the gain structure. So we start that off as usual by planning it first. So I'm going to go up here to the snapshot area and right click and change the name of this to clean. And I'm going to set the color of that to be blue. So now, if I change the stomp to snapshot mode, you can see the foot switch turned blue. And if you could read that tiny little screen there, if I can give you a little bit more, it says clean, and that's because I renamed it clean up here. So go over that again. You can select the color of the foot switch and you can name the snapshot here. Perfect. How nice. And because my user setting for this amp is already set for the clean sound that I like, we're going to leave this pretty much the way that it is. So it's going to continue sound like this. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is make the next snapshot, and the next snapshot is going to be our dirty sound. So up here I'm going to change it to snapshot 2. First I'm going to save, and I'm going to rename this to dirty. I'm going to change the color to red and save. Now you can see the foot switch down here is red, and that's going to show us that is that snapshot. So the next thing we need to do is tell the HX Stomp what to control via snapshots. So we want the channel drive, and to do that I'm going to go here to snapshots and click, and basically you're going to see this little icon here pop up, and it's going to tell you that this is going to be controlled by snapshots. So whatever I change this to is what it's going to be on this snapshot, and whatever it was on the clean one is what it's going to be on the clean one. So for example, currently we have this sound. But we want more drive, more gain, more grit. So we turn this up. I'm going to assign a few more things to snapshots to compensate for the amount of drive that I'm adding. Okay, so you'll notice that I assigned a few more things here to snapshots and tweaked them a little bit as I brought the drive up to filter out some of the fizz and the shrillness. And then we have the channel volume. That should be pretty obvious. As I brought the drive up, the volume increased. So I'm just trying to keep things somewhat even. And I'm not going to say that I'm like a scientist the way that I do that or anything. I'm just kind of doing it by ear right now. Wonderful. Okay, so now when I hit this blue switch, all of these sliders should change and it should go back to clean. So here's what it should do. It should go just from the distorted sound that I have now to the clean sound that I had before. Okay, wonderful. This is exactly what I wanted it to do. Now, the problem here is that it's kind of an inefficient layout to have two buttons to do this, because when you're on the clean channel, you never need to have the clean button available to press because you're already there. And when you're on the dirty channel, you don't need to see the dirty channel because you're already on it. So it'd be nice to have one button that just goes back and forth between the two sounds. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change a stomp to stomp view. And you're going to see that all this goes away, like the whole way that it's assigned. And we're going to have to do a little command center to get it back. Okay, so you can see now that the stomp is blank again. And what we want to do is make the layout so that there is one button that is toggling the two snapshots back and forth, the clean and the dirty. So we're going to open Command Center. And basically what's going on here is we have a layout here that shows instant commands. These are sent as soon as you recall the snapshot. Then we have the buttons. This is the stomp itself and the expression pedals. And we can assign various things to them. The key to this whole thing is that you do it per snapshot. So the things that I assign while I'm on snapshot 1, like I can assign these buttons to be whatever I want them to be. It's not the same on snapshot 2. You have to edit each snapshot for whatever you want that snapshot to be. You'll see in a second here. So this first button here is the first button on the stomp, the far left one, foot switch 1. And I want this one to toggle the clean and dirty sounds. So basically what we want it to do is to control a snapshot. So we go down to this, we select it, and then we go down to this drop menu and select snapshot. And we are going to do press and release. So while we're on snapshot 1, we want this button to go to snapshot 2. While we are on snapshot 2, we want this button to go to snapshot 1. So if you look at the bottom right window there, you can see this switch is currently blue because I'm on snapshot 2. Yeah, so we have it set up now so that this one button controls going back and forth between the two different amp channels. Well, they're not really channels, but you know, the two different drive sounds. So we want to save. Now we have to decide what we want to do with those other two buttons because we have blocks left and we have buttons left. So this is the kind of fun part. Oh, one other thing here. When I'm on snapshot 2, I want the input gate to be on because my guitar makes a lot of noise. So I'm going to make that controlled by snapshots as well. But on the clean channel, I don't want it on, so I'm going to keep it off. So yeah, that's another little handy trick there. Like I have full volume up right now, there's no noise. Excuse me. Okay, the next thing that I want to add to this is a rotary speaker. And this is something that is only available in stereo. So you have to set this to stereo and go to modulation. We're going to use the 145. But the key to how I use this is that I'm going to drop it down this path and basically send my signal through the amp, through the rotary, around the cabinet and the other reverb, and then back out here. So the thing is that the rotary that's built into the Helix is simulating something that already has a speaker, so you don't really need to send it through your own cab because it's kind of weird, speaker through speaker. It's not really what you want to do. So basically, just test out how this sounds. Oh yeah, that is definitely interesting. Now, the thing is, where a lot of us can kind of go wrong with this one is if you just bypass this, the signal still goes through here, and you get this gnarly, weird DI sound, and that's not good. So we're going to change this little joint thing here to a split A-B. And we want to be able to set this to be one of our foot switches. So I'm going to assign it to foot switch 2. And now when I look down, that AB switch is set to foot switch 2, but we still need it to actually control something when we hit that switch. Okay, so excuse my fumbling around here. I'm using the root 2 in the bypass controller assign of this split, and basically what it should do is switch between fully A and fully B. At least that's the stock setting. So basically fully A would be all the guitar is going all through the top path. Fully B would be it's all going through here and then down here and out. Okay, so here's what this sounds like when I switch it off. Sorry, when I switch it on and off. Okay, so the thing is in my opinion, that's too much rotary. The way that I like it used is kind of blended in. So we want to control kind of like the wildness of it and still have like one go off and one go on. So we know that currently the state that is A 100 is the top path. Which is currently showing the LED as off. And then when the LED is on, we're getting the full B path. So if we bring this down, if we were at 50% even split, we're getting an even blend of these two paths. It's weird. You have to like turn it on and off to get the changes that you make here. Wonderful. Now, if we want to rename the foot switch and change the color and everything, come down here to where it says auto color, and we can change this to be something like the violet. And I'm going to turn snapshot control off so that this is not controlled by the snapshots. So it's on or off depending on if you have this effect on or off instead of the snapshots turning on and off. We're going to rename this to be rotary because that's what it is. So to recap, here's where we're at. We have a clean sound. We have a clean sound with rotary. We have a dirty sound. We have a dirty sound with rotary. Cool. Okay, there's a couple other little things here that I want to do. So the rotary has a bunch of different controls, and the one thing that I want to do is set it so that I can control the speed with the expression pedal. So it's currently set to fast, so I'm just going to use this one here. And for whatever reason, my expression pedal is set to 2, I think. Yeah, so there we go. So now the expression pedal will control the speed of the rotary. Nice. I like it. There's a couple other things here that I want to add. I definitely would like to have a delay. So we are going to put the delay after the spring reverb, because I want to use a stereo delay. Now I'm going to right click that and assign that to foot switch 3. So basically, I can turn the delay on and off there. I can turn the rotary on and off with this one. And the spring reverb. So this is as dry as it gets right now. And we can do the channel switching. I have some problems though. So I need to uncheck snapshot bypass, and we want to turn this off. Basically, the way that I'm using it right now, I don't want to have snapshot bypass on any of the effects, because the snapshots are really just there to control the amount of gain on the amp. So yeah. That's where we're at. I don't have any kind of fancy songs to show you guys or anything, but yeah, I just wanted to show a little bit about how I use a stomp and build a tone and have a little bit of fun with it. And yeah, I'll run you through a few sounds here real quick.